Bonjour, power players. Welcome to the T-shirt transfer paper Power Half Hour, brought to you by Condé Systems Incorporated. My name's Doug DeWitt, host of the show. Welcome. With us today, strapped in the harness, ready to light this candle, our director, our producer, our guy behind the curtain, our practical own Wizard of Oz, Mr. Rodeo Bo. And have we got a great show for you today, ladies and gentlemen? Over the past couple of episodes, we've been basically plotting our way into the 21st century. We did an episode where we showed you how to sublimate to a cotton t-shirt using FOREVER Sublimate-to-Cotton. And then after that, in a previous episode, we showed you how to sublimate onto a dark cotton shirt using FOREVER Subli-Dark-No-Cut Glitter. So now we are going to completely push the space-time continuum, and we're going to show you how to use sublimation transfers and hot stamping foil to decorate cotton and cotton poly blend garments of any color. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hey, Doug, this violates all the physical laws of time and space. I know, right? But working with foil, it's hot. So you need to learn how, and I want to thank you for tuning in because we are going to show you how to do it today. But before we can get started, mon dieu, Bo, what do we got to do?
Pay the power bill.
We got to pay the power bill. And first up on the power bill is our brand new promotion for April. What are we calling it? Get your spring sprung, okay? We've got numerous items on sale. We've got a suggestion list of gifts that you can decorate with sublimation to take care of all of the holidays that fall within spring. We're even offering a $75 an art pack, free art pack download with every $75 purchase. And of course, purchases over $200, free delivery within the 48 states. We are still running our overstock sale. To give you the idea behind an overstock sale, this is stuff that we have a ton of, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to clear out of our inventory. So it would definitely be in your interest to click on the banner on our website and check out the items that are on sale, because you can get them at absolutely rock bottom ridiculous prices. I'm saying rock bottom and ridiculous. Now, another thing you might want to check out on our website is here at Condé Systems, we are the largest George Knight distributor in the US. We carry the complete George Knight heat press product line, from their smallest unit all the way up to their big maxi presses. And we offer them at competitive prices, prices that you can get a better price than what you can get going direct to George Knight. So click on our banner for more information and learn how we could set you up with a brand new, state-of-the-art, made in the USA George Knight heat press. Okay, Bo, power bills paid. Let's move on to today's topic, which is using inkjet sublimation transfers and hot stamp foil to decorate cotton and cotton poly blend garments. Again, why would we do something like this? Because now we have the capability of doing it. It's fun, and like I said, foils are absolutely hot. So let's learn how to do it. First, let's cover the materials that you're going to need to pull off this process. First thing you're going to need is a pack of FOREVER Sublimate-No-Cut. What I have in my hands is our 25 sheet pack, an 8.5 by 11 inch size. We are also going to need what is called the FOREVER Sublimate adhesive finishing foil. Okay, so think of it this way. The Sublimate-No-Cut transfer acts as the target. This product here applies the adhesive. Then we need our roll of hot stamp foil, and we offer hot stamp foil in a variety of different colors and finishes. If you need more information, remember, you can purchase a hot stamp foil swatch book from Conde, and it'll show you all the different colors and finishes. So you need your hot stamp foil. And then finally, you need your matte or gloss finishing sheets to round out the process. I'm going to be using 11 by 17 matte silicone sheets for today's demonstration. Now, some other things that you're going to need, ladies and gentlemen, of course, since we're doing this with inkjet sublimation, you got to have an inkjet sublimation printer. I am using my handy dandy Sawgrass SG500. You could also use an SG1000. You can use a later model Sawgrass printer. You can also use printers that are running inkjet sublimation inks as opposed to gel sublimation inks. But it's got to be an inkjet based or a gel based sublimation printer. So you got to have that. Got to have a reliable heat press. For today's demonstration, I'm using my handy dandy George Knight DK20S. And then you're going to need some other accessories, such as a lint roller, pair of scissors, some protective paper, and some cotton or cotton poly blend t-shirts. For our demonstration, we're going to be using Hanes BFT 100% cotton t-shirts, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to take my Sublilite no-cut transfer paper, and I want to load this into my SG500 printer. Now you'll notice that there is a definite backing sheet side and a blank side, which is our printing side. Now when I load this into my SG500 tray, I'm going to load with the backing sheet side facing me, because the printer will flip the sheet around so we can print to the printing side. So now that we've got our paper loaded in, Rodeo Bo, if you could bring us into the computer, I want to show the steps for printing. Thank you, Rodeo Bo. Here's the first graphic I'm going to work with here. Now, I've got the graphic highlighted. It's because I want to bring up a point. Notice I'm working in CMYK process colors. I've got my K set to 100, but I've also got my C, M, and Y values set to 40. So I'm laying down a bit more ink than your traditional 100% black. Why am I doing that? Because one, I don't want to just run through my black and not my other colors. Two, I want to lay down a little extra ink to make sure that I get a clean weed when I use the Sublilite no cut, because the whole point of the process is pointless unless we do get a clean weed. So I'm working out of Corel Draw. I just clicked on print here, and you'll notice that we're going to go to our Sawgrass print manager. Let me go ahead and send this print over to the print manager. Our print manager does pop up. A few things that we want to note before we do hit the print button. We want to make sure that our substrate is set to cotton and the paper is set to Sublilite no cut. And that way this VPN will apply the correct profile. Let's go ahead and hit the print button. Let's get that first print on the way. And Rodeo, if you can get back to me, please. Thank you. So while the first print is going, we're going to go ahead and prep our t-shirt. Again, I'm using a Hanes BFT 100% cotton. I'm going to open up my George Knight heat press. I'm going to lay the cotton shirt, square it up on the bottom platen, and take a few extra seconds to make sure there are no wrinkles within the fabric. And now I'm going to swing the press over and do a pre-press of 30 seconds. Now, as far as my heat press is concerned, I've got my heat press set at 360 degrees Fahrenheit, because the operating temperature of this paper is between 350 to 375 Fahrenheit. Another thing that we want to bear in mind is that when we're applying the Sublilite to our shirt, we want to do it as fast as we can. In other words, while the ink is still wet on the sheet. So there is my 30-second pre-press. Let's go with the first step, which is applying the Sublilite no cut onto our garment. Let me grab the transfer here. Since I intend to decorate this entire design with foil, all I needed was a single color design, black. Remember, this is going to be the target for the hot stamp foil to stick. So let's go ahead, make sure we do not disturb the ink on the page. Let's line up this print. And remember, once we drop it down, we want to leave in that position. I'm going to cover with some protective paper. And in this first step, we are applying the Sublilite no cut at 360 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds with a light to medium pressure. Right now on my George Knight DK20S press, my pressure is reading somewhere between a 4 and a 5. So if you had something like a Hotronix press, you know, you might want to start at a 4. But basically what we want to make sure is that we get a clean weed. So let's see if we've got that done. In order to assure a clean weed, we want to peel immediately. Now, if you notice any bubble marks, so to speak, within your design, which I do have a few here, just to let you know, that's usually a sign that the pressure is too light or the temperature is too low. But if we use too much pressure, what may happen is we may get excess emulsion around the design where we didn't intend it. Now, for something like a multicolored design that we're just going to leave as is, that's okay. We can cover with a silicone sheet and we can basically erase that excess emulsion, so to speak. But when we're working with hot stamp foil, any excess emulsion that's on the design is going to show up when we apply the foil. So it's better to err on the side of either too light of pressure as opposed to too much pressure, if you follow my meaning. But let's just consider this a good attempt. Now that we have our target on our t-shirt, the next thing we have to do is apply the adhesive. And we're doing that with the FOREVER Sublimation foil. Now I'm going to grab a sheet here. And the one thing that you will notice is it looks like a clear sheet when you pull it out of the bag. If you hold it up to the light, you will definitely notice what I call a glossy or shiny side and a matte finish side. The matte finish side is the adhesive side. So what we want to do is, make sure I got this right, Bo. There we go. We want to lay the matte side down against our design and completely cover the design. Again, I'm going to use a protective sheet over the top. And now let's go ahead and apply the adhesive over our Sublimate design. I'm using the same temperature, 360 degrees. I'm using the same pressure, but I only need to go about 10 seconds. So after our 10 seconds, we're going to remove the protective paper and we're going to peel away the adhesive sheet. Now the one thing you might notice is there will be a little bit of ghosting from the previous Sublimate transfer on the adhesive sheet. That's okay because remember, we're coming over the top of it with foil. So now that we have the adhesive applied, we can go ahead and apply our foil. And for this demonstration, I'm going to use our rainbow foil, which is MCAA01. Let me grab some scissors here, and I'll just simply cut the foil to the size I need. I'll take the foil and I'll lay it over the top of the design. Make sure the foil is as flat as I can lay it. Cover with a silicone sheet or protective sheet. And now we're going to go ahead and apply a foil. But a note here, if we want to get a clean weed, let's go a full revolution turn tighter on the pressure than what we use to apply the Sublimate and what we use to apply the adhesive foil. We want that pressure to make sure that we essentially mat that hot stamp foil and get it in contact with all points of the design. We're applying the foil 360 degrees, 30 seconds, heavy pressure. So our timer's almost up here, and once the timer comes off, we're going to remove the shirt. We're going to remove our protective paper. Remove the shirt with the foil still attached. And at this point, what we want to do is we want to let the foil cool before we remove it. I'm going to use a little cheat here and use a piece of metal to absorb that heat off the foil. Go ahead and remove it. And there we go. Hopster. Can everybody see that? There we go. So now our final step for this garment, we put it back on the heat press. We grab a sheet of either matte or gloss silicone. And like I said, for demonstration purposes, I'm using a matte sheet here. Cover it. Press for an additional 30 seconds with that matte silicone sheet, basically making sure that everything is set, you know, the hot stamp foil into the adhesive into the sublite emulsion into the cotton. Basically sandwich it all down. It's going to make it softer. When the design's warm, we can pull it out and stretch it, make it a bit more durable, a bit more flexible. Bo, I'm going to just go ahead and send this next job over. Boom. Now, in this next demonstration here, as this is printing out, let me grab another t-shirt. What we're going to do is a two-color design in hot stamp foil. I'm going to use my Haynes Beefy T. Get it squared up on my platen. Remove as many of the wrinkles as I can. Use your sticky lint roller. Someone asked if all the sheets come in one package. Essentially, the Sublite is its own package. It comes in either 25 sheet or 100 sheet quantities at either 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17 size. The Subla finishing adhesive foil is packed the same way, either 25 sheets or 100 sheets, either 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 17. So just make sure you match up sheet for sheet if you're going to do this process with the hot stamp foil. I think I heard the print kick out of the printer. I still have my pressure adjusted for the last step, Rodeo Bo. Good catch on that one. I am going to reduce the pressure, a revolution turn, continue with my pre-press.
We got some people wanting to know how to fold like you do the shirts.
Well, I have a special folding tool that I use because in my previous life I used to work retail, and that's how the pros do it. Okay, so here we have our design on our Sublite No Cut. Remember, this ink is wet. We do not want to disturb the ink on the sheet, but we want to apply while it is wet. Another thing that you want to note is as you're going through the pre-pressing of your garment and the application of the FOREVER Sublimate No Cut, pay attention to the platen temperature that's being displayed for your heat press, because when we're doing our pre-pressing, inevitably the heat press is going to lose some heat because the heat's being absorbed by the shirt. So what I'm basically doing here is stalling for time and waiting for my heat press to kick back on so that when I drop it again on my transfer, we're at that 360 degrees where we want to be. But I think we're going to get there just fine.
What kind of material is the shirt?
The shirt that I'm using, Rodeo Bo, is a Haynes Beefy T 100% cotton, but this process will work with everything from a 100% cotton to a 50-50 blend. Now, once you get beyond 50% polyester, you're going to have a difficult time working with the Sublilite No Cut because it is designed for cotton. But let's go ahead and take our design, and again, hover it where we want it to appear, and then once we're certain of the spot, go ahead and drop it, because once we drop it, that transfer needs to stay down. Why? Because the ink is wet, and if we pick it up and put it down, inevitably we're going to smudge the print, and if we smudge the print, the whole process is ruined. We're going to have to crank out another transfer. But again, for the first step, which is applying the Sublilite No Cut, 360 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 seconds, light to medium pressure. When your timer goes off, peel the backing sheet immediately. And our timer is about to go, Rodeo. Let's swing out the press, remove our cover sheet, and peel away our design. Again, if we feel texture where the design is on the backing sheet, that means the emulsion has released into the fabric. This ink that you see on the backing sheet was basically the carrier ink. The sublimation ink is now contained within the emulsion on the garment. So let's make sure our shirt stays flat. Let's go to our next step, which is applying the finishing adhesive. And like I said, the trick with the finishing adhesive is there is a matte side and a gloss side. The gloss side should be facing you. The matte side goes against the garment because that's the adhesive side. And when we apply the finishing adhesive, we're using the same temperature, time, and pressure the same temperature and pressure that we used with the Sublilite No Cut, but as far as the time is concerned, it's only 10 seconds. Once you have the adhesive sheet down, peel it away. Like I said, you will see a residual image, but that's okay. So now that we have the adhesive on, we can go ahead and foil. Now I'm going to do this as a two-color design. I am going to use this purple weave style here for the bunny. And then I'm going to use a strip of the orange weave for his carrot tie. So this will work if we line up everything accordingly. So like I said, with this step, we're basically putting down two colors at once. Let's cover with a protective sheet. Let's swing our heat press over. Let's go one revolution turn tighter. And let's drop the press 360 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 seconds, medium to heavy pressure to apply the foil. So to backtrack here quickly, we're using a light pressure to apply the Sublilite No Cut transfer. We're using a light pressure to apply the adhesive finishing foil. We're using heavy pressure when we are applying the hot stamping foil and when we are using the silicone sheet for our finishing step. Okay. Now again, we want to give the foil some time to cool down, or we want to cheat by using a piece of metal or aluminum to help dissipate the heat. And while I am doing this, I'm going to queue up my next print. Let me go ahead and send that to the printer. And let me show this to the audience at home, Rodeo. So here's our basically two-color job. Like I said, we basically put the purple down over the bunny, used orange for his carrot tie, and that's how we did our two-color design. Okay, so in this next demonstration, we're going to do another two-color design, but we're going to use what I'm calling the rodeo bow technique. Why? Because Rodeo brought this to my attention this morning, and it worked while we were practicing. So if I'm able to pull this off, it just demonstrates my skill. If we can't do it, it just goes to show that Rodeo is insane. But we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Let me go ahead and pre-press my t-shirt. Again, square it up on the platen. Take care to remove any wrinkles. Use a sticky lint roller to remove any contaminants. We're going to swing the press over, lock it in, do a 15 to 30 second pre-press, and let me grab my design. This is my Bad Bunny design, so if this does work, this should be really cool. 15 to 30 seconds on the pre-press. Thank you for reminding me, Rodeo. Let me readjust the pressure.
What's the adhesive paper or the adhesive part number?
As far as the adhesive part number is concerned, what I'm using, which is a 25 sheet pack, 8.5 by 11, the part number is FSF-004XXV. If you go to our website and you're looking for this stuff, click on Dye-Sub Media, then click on the FOREVER Sublimation Media link, and it'll take you to all these products on our website. Thank you for pointing that out, Rodeo. So, first step, apply the target with our Sublilite No Cut, making sure not to disturb the ink. Place the design where we want it to appear, cover with protective paper or a silicone sheet, either one's fine. And we're pressing at 360 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 seconds, light to medium pressure. Now understand that when it comes to this process of applying the Sublilite, you might have to experiment with your own heat press in regard to the time, temperature, and pressure that you need to get consistent weeding results. Make sure you tune into our previous TTPPHH episode where we talk about the Sublilite No Cut and some graphics that you could use to calibrate your press. Okay. Let me go ahead and peel this design. Again, if you feel the fabric texture in the design, then your emulsion has released. And I'm just going to hold it up real quick so that you can see it. Now we have to apply the adhesive. Let's flatten the shirt out. Let's grab our adhesive sheet. Let's take real careful consideration when we're judging the matte side and the shiny side. Shiny side is facing us, matte side goes down against the transfer. We're going to cover, swing over, And remember, we're only doing this for 10 seconds at the same temperature and pressure that you used to apply the Sublilite no-cut transfer. There's our 10 seconds. We want to remove the adhesive sheet immediately. Once we're finished with the adhesive sheet, we discard it. And now we are ready to foil this. So we are going to do a 2-color foil job with this. The first color I'm going to lay down is silver glitter. Now I am going to cut a longer than usual sheet than what I would need. Because in order to do the rodeo bow technique, we got to have enough play, because what we are going to do with the sheet is we're going to try to create a textured two-tone effect. So I want to crumple up. Is that crumpled enough, Rodeo? Rodeo is shaking his head. Let's cover with our protective paper. Let's swing the press over. And if we're putting 2 colors down, one over the top of the other, when we're applying the first color, we really only need to go about 10-15 seconds. There we go. Let's remove the shirt. Place it down. Let me grab my aluminum so we could rapidly cool this one, because I'm curious as to what type of effect this is going to do. Okay. I'm going to use the Olay technique. 1, 2, 3, Olay. Ooh, okay. I'm going to show this to the people at home. Can everyone see that at home? I hope so. There we go. All right, so now what we're going to do is apply a second color over the top and try to catch all these areas where it wasn't originally covered by the crinkle hot stamp foil. So let's put this back on. And so that it stands out, Bo, I think I'm going to go with carbon fiber red.
And when you put the foil down, you want the color facing you, right?
Yes, when we're putting the hot stamp foil down, we want the color facing us. And for this particular trick, we crumpled our first foil, which was the silver. But the second foil here, which is the red, I want this flat. So I'm going to try not to crease it at all, but make sure that I have as good contact as I can. I'm going to cover with the silicone, or pardon me, cover with a piece of protective paper. I'm going to swing my press over. I'm going to go 1 revolution turn tighter because I want to come down on this foil to fill in those cracks. And now we're cooking. 360 degrees, 30 seconds, just like if we were doing a single color job or a 2-color job where we're not overlapping the colors. But like I said, we kicked this technique around. Bo suggested the idea. And when we were trying it before the show started, it's like, wow, look at that. That's a neat effect. So hopefully we can replicate it for you here, ladies and gentlemen. again, we want to let the design cool. Now, if we weren't using the metal technique, you would want to give this design about 5 to 10 minutes cooling on its own before you removed it. Just so you know, there is no penalty in waiting too long to remove the hot stamp foil. If we try to remove it too soon, there may be some areas that should have released but decided to stick to the foil. So like I said, we want to make sure that it's a cold peel, but we're just using this metal trick in the interest of saving time. Okay, now one thing I'm going to do to this, I'm going to use my sticky lint roller just in case there are any free floating contaminants, so to speak. Let me go ahead and seal this design. Yes?
You got the coaster on the bottom of the shirt.
I've got the coaster on the bottom of the shirt. Is this our new lemon scented sublimation ink?
It is.
Lemony. Yeah. All right. Thank you for that catch, Rodeo Bo. That would have been embarrassing. Let me cover with a matte silicone sheet.
Did you, when you were doing this, did you come up with an estimated cost at all?
Well, as far as the cost is concerned, when it comes to the FOREVER Sublilite No Cut, I want to say that that product is going to be somewhere between 50 cents to $1 a sheet. As far as your printing cost, you want to figure about 1 cent per square inch of ink that you use. The cost of the adhesive sheet, I don't have off the top of my head. I apologize for that. But as far as the hot stamp foil rolls are concerned, I want to say they run about $36, somewhere in there. And right now we have about 21 different colors. We're trying to get more in from FOREVER because this has been such a popular product. Let me show the folks at home. Now that turned out cool. So that is red and silver hot stamp foil. That one turned out really good, Rodeo.
And everyone's custom.
Yes, and everyone is custom. And now that we've done the finishing press, essentially this shirt, you could wear it out the store door. All right, I've got one more design I want to show people, Rodeo. So let me go ahead and get this one queued up. Looks like we're running a little bit over on time. I apologize for that. But the reason I want to show you this is because if you're planning on basically foiling the entire design, even though we're using Sublilite, remember, it's just acting as a target for the adhesive foil and then the hot stamp foil. So what we're about to show you here is this process will work on a dark or even black cotton or cotton poly blend. Let me cue up my print here real quick. Let me go ahead and get my pre-press going, Rodeo. And again, we want to smooth out as many wrinkles as we can to ensure good contact. Let me dial back that pressure a little. And as far as pre-pressing is concerned, pre-press between 15 to 30 seconds. I would say depending on the relative humidity of your environment. If you're in a low humidity environment, 10-15 seconds is fine. If you're in Mobile, Alabama, you got to pre-press an entire 30 seconds. Okay. I hear my print coming out, Rodeo. There's our 30 seconds on the pre-press. We're going to go for broke with this design here. Going to place it where I want it to appear. Cover with protective paper or silicone. We apply the Sublilite no cut, 360 degrees, 30 seconds, light to medium pressure. Yes, Rodeo, you wanted to ask?
The Everything is Terrible shirt is Sublilite, right?
Yes, the shirt that we displayed at the very beginning, the one that says Everything is Terrible, which by the way is a Rodeo Bow original design, good one. As far as that was concerned, that was done with Sublilite no cut.
You don't have to use the foil.
No, if you're doing a multicolored design, why would you need a foil? This is just to make the shirt stand out. Okay. Looks like we got all of the emulsion to release where it should. Let's make sure our material is once again as flat as we can get it. Let's take our adhesive sheet, identify matte side, shiny side. Shiny side faces up, matte side goes down. Matte side is the adhesive. Let's cover with our protective paper. And again, we only need to apply the Subli-Finishing adhesive foil for 10 seconds. There is our 10 seconds right there. Immediately remove the adhesive foil. Like I said, you will see a little ghost design. That is okay. That means that we have essentially targeted our transfer with the adhesive. I'm going to do this one in gold. Let me go ahead and cut a piece here. This is called gold weave. Okay. Cover with our protective paper. Increase our pressure 1 revolution turn. If we were working with an air-operated press, we would probably want to add an additional 15 to 20 psi when we're applying the foil over the adhesive and the Sublilite. To show you how this should look, this is one I did earlier in green. How cool is that? I call him Peter Cotton Tank. There's our timer on this one. Again, we want to let the foil cool down. Now I'm going to use a piece of aluminum to help the process along. Let's remove the foil. Now again, if I had any what I would consider to be excess emulsion or excess foil, I can use a sticky lint roller, pick those pieces up before I move the shirt back onto my platen and use my silicone sheet and again to set the hot stamp foil to the adhesive, to the Sublilite, to the garment, 360 degrees, 30 seconds, heavy pressure. So remember, we're going light pressure when we're applying the Sublilite no cut and the adhesive foil. We're going heavy pressure when we apply the hot stamp foil and when we do our finishing press with our matte or gloss silicone sheet. And I think our 30 seconds is done. Ta-da! Pretty cool. So again, this was Sublilite, adhesive finishing foil, and hot stamp foil, but you see it works on any color cotton or cotton poly blend. All right. So I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration of using FOREVER Sublilite No Cut, FOREVER Subli-Finishing Adhesive Foil, and FOREVER Hot Stamping Foil to basically use an inkjet sublimation printer to create foil designs onto any color cotton or cotton poly blend. Now, if you have any questions about the material that we covered, you can hit our inbox, TTPPHH@Conde.com, or you can leave a comment either on Facebook or YouTube. Bo and I go through those comments and make sure we answer every one. So if you have a question, please let us know. Also, remember to like and comment and share this video with anybody in the industry that you think may benefit from this presentation of working with FOREVER Sublilite and hot stamp foil. And I wanted to remind you that in 2 weeks, we will be having our next episode of the T-shirt Transfer Paper Power Half Hour. Forgive me while I have to look it up, but it's going to be on Tuesday, April 19th, 3:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. What we are going to demonstrate in that episode is how to use a white toner printer to decorate the most popular clothing item in the world today, sweatpants. Yes, it is our homage to sweatpants, and we're going to use white toner decoration, show you how it's done. So remember to tune in to 2 weeks for the next episode of the T-shirt Transfer Paper Power Half Hour. But until then, for my colleague Rodeo Bo, I'm Doug DeWitt, Transfer Paper Product Manager here at Conde Systems. Thank you for watching the T-shirt Transfer Paper Power Half Hour. Our time is up. We thank you for yours.